Hey guys, I got this I got this 96 STS 32 valve North Star. Okay. Now my problem was it was overheating. It was running hot. I didn't have no water in the oil. But I'm gonna just show you. Pop this hood real quick. Now, when I first bought this car, the guy said it was overheating after like 30 minutes of driving, which what it did. So, because I had a car with a blown head gasket before, another North Star, but the symptom was way different. I had like actual white smoke coming out my tailpipe. This one it doesn't, but after like I could let it sit in idle, and it won't get hot. But once I start revving it, I'll get water. Water would shoot out of here, would come back out, and then it would start running hot. So I would cut it off, and then I would check my oil. So I was like, okay, my oil. I don't know if I can really see that. But my oil wasn't looking milky. So I was like, all right, maybe, because I read a couple of videos, a couple people kept saying maybe it was the purge line. Your purge lines, they get clogged up because they say they're pretty thin lines. Like this line right here, and then there's one right here, and there's another one. There's another one around here that wraps around, and you could check them too, but most likely it's a head problem. Most likely mine was overheating. I wasn't getting no white smoke at the tailpipe, really none, not even a little bit. I would rev it to about 7,000 RPM, no white smoke, no nothing, but it was running hot. Water was shooting back out of there. So I'm like, I don't care what you say, a car not supposed to do that, shoot water back out the reservoir. So I'm like, all right. So I was like, all right. So my next step was, matter of fact, I didn't even do no compression test or nothing. Like, this is a North Star. Like, I don't care. If it's running hot, most likely, if it's running hot, you don't hear no squealing, no nothing. And if your water is shooting back up out of that reservoir, and you have a 96 or a 2000, just one of these motors, period, and you're getting the same symptoms I'm getting, most likely it's a blown head. Most likely it's the head. It's not mixing with the oil, but what it's doing is the exhaust is mixing with the water. So, I don't know. A lot of people like to, where is my bottle? A lot of people like to, uh, say, "Oh, do it the right way," but what if you ain't got the money to do it the right way? And this right here pretty much is the right way. And I put this in yesterday night, and they say on here to use a full bottle if you have a V8, but I didn't use a full bottle. I used half a bottle, and after I used half of the bottle, I let it run, make sure I topped off. Like, first I drained all the fluid. Then the first thing I did was put this in there, because I want to make sure that's well, and I want to make sure it's in the engine. So I pour it in, I want this in the engine instead of the water. So I let out the water, and make sure this got in the engine, and then I filled up with water. Then I let it run for let it run for 15 minutes, but I want to make sure that was gonna do its job, so I let it run for 20 to 25 minutes. Then I cut it off, let it sit for an hour, hour and a half, just long enough to where there's no more pressure in your radiator hose, and you feel like it's safe to take off this cap. Then do that. And then what you're gonna do is, if you want, what I did was I put a little bit in, and then I let it run for 25 minutes, and then I cut it off, let it sit for an hour and a half. And after I did that, I put a little bit more, topped it off with some water, let it run for about 30 minutes, cut it off, and then I started up after turned it off, turned it back on, drove it, parked it, and then I put a little bit more of this in here once everything cooled off. And Bars Leak has been working for me. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's too soon to say, but I mean, I just drove to the store and back, and usually if I drove to the store and back, my reservoir, it would be bubbling, my car would be overheating, and usually my hose don't be pressurized, and it's pressurized, and usually my check coolant light will come on, check coolant level, and after I put this stuff in my car, my check coolant level went off. So to me, it's got to be doing something. It's working. I mean, for the most part, I think it's working for me, but hey, I mean, it's working. So I mean, it literally even says on here, damn near like literally recommended for a North Star motor, if you could see the words right there. even on North Star head gasket. So that pretty much lets you know right there, damn near this. And a lot of people don't know that when you have a Cadillac, a North Star motor, there's really little pellets you're supposed to put in with your antifreeze that you're supposed to get from GM, and it's like, and it's damn near like little sealant pat, like little sealant. Pretty much it's damn near like some head gasket sealer. You know, I mean, then they're pretty much putting little sealer on the car, but in a different way. It's little pellets. And for me, this worked. You know, I mean, you could try the other one, the carbon fiber one. I was going to get that one, but it was a little bit more expensive. But I just got the one step, and it worked for me. So, you know, hey, I just want to put my video out there. You know, I ain't paid or nothing. Obviously, you can look at my car until I ain't getting paid off this shit or nothing. You know, I'm broke. I paid $300 for this car, so I wasn't, you know, finna put like $1,500 into it if I paid $300 for it, because obviously it's not really worth that type of money, even though it passed smog and everything. But still, I wouldn't put that much money into it. I go buy a couple cars with that kind of money, you know. But hey, Bars League works for me, you know. Just make sure you follow the instructions and do it right. And hey, and if I were y'all, I would do this like I would add a little at a time, like I say like close to half, like around like that much each, like within this much each time you put some, like add like, you know, like that much, at least like do this process 3 times with this one bottle. So pour some in, fill it up, start it, run it, turn it off, pour some more in. You know, I would do that over and over, because to me that's, you know, work best than just dump it all in there and let it circulate and stuff. I would dump little in, you know, make sure it's all circulating, you know. Hey, but that's my video. Bars League worked for me, you know. I would buy this one, you know, not the cheap ass Bars League, because, you know, I would at least, you know, if you're gonna spend your money, spend some money on, you know, something that's most likely probably at least gonna work.